From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
I am back in the land of the free and home of the brave. This is my awesome studio. I'm back. It's so great to be back with you guys. 9:02 a.m. here on the East Coast of these United States of America. Welcome to today's Practitioner Brief. I'm James Azar. Let's get right into a very, very busy show that we have here today. Joining us, though, this morning, Heather, did you beat Matt? Say hi to everyone. And also, good morning, all. Heather, you are everywhere. I think that is John. Brian Kane, good to have you back in the country. It's good to be back home, man. I missed it. I really did. And we'll talk a lot about the show. We'll talk a little bit about that later this week. I have a special on Thursday. Towards the end of the show, I'll talk a little bit about my trip and some of the stuff that goes on there. And so, John Dela Cruz, remember, excited sponge, haha, gotta be everywhere. John, good morning. Roger, good morning to you as well. Welcome to everyone tuning in live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. If you have not subscribed, make sure to do so right now. Go to the CyberHub podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. Subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. There you get the audio version of the show as well. Live as always with all of you guys here. Today's show is brought to you by KnowBe4, Wistic, and Ativo Networks. Make sure to check those good companies out. You can see more about them in the show notes. Also, before I get started on today's show, this Thursday, June 17th, I've got an awesome webinar with Carolyn Crandall from Ativo Networks and Joseph. We're going to be talking about Active Directory. Really critical webinar, so you can register, sign up. The link is in the show notes as well. And now let's get right into today's show. But before I do that, while I was gone last week, I didn't get to do my ceremonial sip of espresso. I'm back home. There's a dedicated espresso machine right there. It's great. It's awesome. I also got some Israeli coffee that's sold in some of the unique coffee shops. Like every coffee shop in Israel has its own espresso blend that works, capsules. So I got like a bunch of them that I'm going to be testing out over the next 90 days. This one is from a kind of the Israeli version of Starbucks called Aroma. There's one in New York. So if you're in New York, you can go check it out. Delicious, good capsules. Cheers. All right, I want to get right into the headlines today. Good morning to Greg. Good morning to everyone tuning in. Chinese hackers are believed to be behind the second cyber attack on AirIndia. AirIndia suffering from a massive data breach, the second in this year, where it appears to have suffered a separate cyber assault that lasted a period of 2 months and 26 days, according to new research, with moderate confidence to a Chinese nation-state threat actor called APT41. Group IB dubbed the campaign Column TK based on the names and command and control server domains that were used for facilitating communications with the compromised system. This is a downstream supply chain attack on AirIndia. Here's what we do know. So again, a bunch of monikers here for APT41. I was on Voice America with Kim on Friday from Israel. If you guys didn't check that out, you should go listen to it. I talked about cyber vocabulary, and one of the things is maybe MITRE just needs to say, we're going to create a moniker of names. You pick it, that's the name that sticks to that group or that vulnerability instead of having multiples, which creates a lot of confusion. AirIndia on May 21st disclosed a data breach affecting 4.5 million of its customers over a period of stretching nearly 10 years in the wake of the supply chain attack directed at the passenger service system provider SITA that was earlier this February. We discussed it earlier this year as well. The analysis shows that at least since February 23rd, an infected device inside of AirIndia's network named SITA Server 4 communicated with a server hosting a Cobalt Strike payloads dating all the way back to December 11th, 2020. Following the initial compromise, the attackers are said to have established persistence and obtained passwords in order to pivot laterally to the broader network with the goal of gathering information inside the local network. No fewer than 20 devices were infected. During the course of the lateral movement, the attackers exfiltrated NTLM hashes and plain text passwords from local workstation using hash dump and Mimikatz, according to Group IP. This is a significant. The IOCs can be accessed right here. All the links to all the stories are available on the show notes. You can go and check it out as well. This is significant because this is just showing how China's operating in terms of gathering information. It's attacking national airlines. AirIndia is just one of many that used. CITA United was another one of them, many others as well. So you want to check this out. This story has me disturbed, a little bit uneasy this morning. And if you're a veteran or if you're just an overall person who cares, this is significant. Revil hits a U.S. nuclear weapons contractor, according to the group. Seoul Orient's a subcontractor for U.S. Department of Energy that works on nuclear weapons with the National Nuclear Security Administration, was hit last month by a cyber attack that experts say came from the relentless Revil ransomware as a service game. The Albuquerque, New Mexico company website has been unreachable since at least the 3rd of June. And Seoul Orient's officials confirmed to Fox News and CNBC that the firm became aware of the breach sometime last month. The company's statement, captured in a tweet stream posted by CNBC on Thursday, said that Seoul Orient became aware of a cybersecurity incident that impacted our network environment, and the investigation is ongoing. But we recently determined that an unauthorized individual acquired certain documents from our systems. Those documents are currently under review, and we're working with a third-party technological forensic firm to determine the scope of potential data that may have been involved. We have no current indication that this incident involved client classified or critical security-related information. Once the investigation concludes, we'll see more of that. This is significant, folks. So here's what was stolen, according to a threat analysis and ransomware expert at Emisoft, I believe, that they spotted internal information posted on Revil's dark web blog. At least for now, the data seems benign enough. It reportedly shows that what Mother Jones described as a company payroll form from September of 2020, outing a handful of employee names, socials, and quarterly pay. There's also a company contracts ledger, a portion of a memo outlining worker training plans, and much more. Whether Revil or the gang proves to be responsible for the attack got its hand on more sensitive secret information about the country's nuclear weapons remains to be seen. Talk about CMMC, right? So here's the thing. DoD invested a lot of money to create the CMMC. Certification is in progress, but here you go. We have a Department of Energy a contractor that's been victimized, that apparently found out through third party that they were impacted by this specific cyber breach incident. And so now we're seeing more and more of this going on. This has significant national security implications as well as wartime implications. This is significant. I want to get to some of your comments here. Christopher, good morning, says, James sounds like he has a double espresso today. I did. This is my third this morning. I was on Clubhouse an hour ago for the Other Side of Cyber at 8 a.m. on Mondays. If you guys are on Clubhouse, go check out the Other Side of Cyber room. We had a great conversation. Heather, John, many people were there and moved with me here. So thank you for spending a few hours this morning with me as well. David says the strategic increase of cybersecurity attacks on key areas of the U.S. are concerning indeed, and it's showing a specific behavior by our adversaries, where they, Colonial had an impact on fuel and kind of like our security here in the Southeast from a comfort of life, from a lifestyle perspective. Now we're starting to see that go on to JBS meat and this here as well. Significant stuff here. Quadruple is indeed the case there. Is data ever benign, though? Those could be used in social engineering. Absolutely. Significant. With names and SSNs, you can poke around easily. Take names, SSNs. If you work for that contractor, you probably were in the military at some point or another in your career. So take that, and let's say this is attributed to China. All right. And I'm saying there's no proof that this was China. Okay. So I'm just saying, let's say this was China. Take that with, OPM, and now you start to build a picture. Easy to escalate. And my OSNet brain's already wearing. That's Heather. 100% true. Morning to Matt Lee, who's joining us late, but better late than ever. We'll move to the next one, where Codecov ditches the PAJ uploader for a NodeJS executable. Codecov's been very, very quiet since their supply chain attack that's impacted multiple organizations. Now they've introduced a cross-platform uploader meant to replace its former Bash uploader, the one that was a victim of the supply chain attack. The new uploader is available as a static binary executable, currently supporting the Windows, Linux, and macOS operating systems. The announcement follows the recent Codecov supply chain incident that lasted 2 months, in which attackers had altered the Codecov bash uploader to collect sensitive credentials from customers' CI/CD environments. The beta release of all its new uploader capable of running the Windows, Linux, Alpine Linux, and macOS operating systems. It's written in NodeJS and would replace the bash uploader that was used previously. Very interesting approach to this from Codecov. I haven't seen anything why they ended up replacing it. Could it be that it was flawed to begin with and they realized that there was no way for them to patch it? I don't know. It's very interesting, and I wish Codecov would give a little bit more answers. I want to stay true to time, so I want to rush through these next two stories. The G7, the most useless meeting on the planet, where they've taken action on the global challenge, they vowed to take action on the global challenge of ransomware. And the declaration, which was made by Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, in Cornwall, England, follows a string of high-profile ransomware attacks. They've now demanded that Russia prosecute ransomware gangs within their own jurisdiction. I can see the chuckle coming from the FSB and Putin over this one. This has no teeth. It's simply, Russia isn't going to do this. Russia's economy is teetering. The only thing that keeps Russia's economy going right now is these ransomware gangs that are continuing to operate out of Russia under the guidance of the FSB. Any other thing to think otherwise is just insane. Nothing goes on in Russia without the FSB and the Kremlin knowing about it. Going and saying, hey, go prosecute the guys you're essentially allowing to operate in your environment is, I don't know, this is, yeah, if you believe that, you know, Russia's going to do anything here to stop this, start sanctioning people and, you know, put some teeth behind a statement. But that's why, you know, UN, G7, they're useless. They're just, you know, clickbaits for news organizations and people to say, look at us, we're trying to do something. But really it's a chuckle. It is. And your comments definitely say that. Greg has the best one. If you believe that, I got a bridge for sale. Yeah. Why prosecute them when they work with the cyber gangs? Yeah, Russia makes billions of dollars off this stuff. North Korea does the same. So we go to that. And finally, a local story. For a lot of you that I know, I'm based here in the metro Atlanta area. And according to the DOJ, the CEO of a of Secure Lotix, an IoT security provider, has been prosecuted for a cyber attack on the Gwinnett Medical Center. The cyber attack, which took place on September 17th, 2018, according to the indictment, Singala's actions caused damages of at least $5,000 and resulted in the modification, impairment, and potential modification and impairment of the medical examination, diagnosis, treatment, and care of one or more individuals. Furthermore, the attack allegedly caused damages to more than 10 computers over a 1-year period. Singla was charged with 17 counts of intentional damage to a protected computer, each carrying a maximum of 10 years in prison, and 1 count of obtaining information from a protected computer, which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. He is being prosecuted by the North District of Georgia for his crimes. Wow. Oh, wow. I've never met Vikas. I actually have never heard of Secure Lotix until I saw this story. But man, oh man, if he did that against the hospital because the hospital was in maybe didn't want to buy their IoT security products, oh my God, talk about predatory vendor behavior, right? This guy's taking it to a whole other load of stuff. So that's it for our practitioner brief today, guys. Paul says China EPR nuclear power plant in meltdown. Could be, yeah. China could definitely do that. And I got to check out that story about Singala. Yeah, we definitely have to spend more time. I'll be reading the indictment later today. I didn't have a chance this morning. But that's it for us here, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's show. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here for the Practitioner Brief. Until then, folks, enjoy the rest of your day. Most importantly, stay cyber safe. Cheers and see you tomorrow.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.